the dynamic and what I'd like, we are talking about the narrow body, right? Because the wide body, we can talk about that in a second. That's just a whole nother, that's a whole nother elephant in the room, as we say.
Yeah.
but on the narrow body, it's going to be interesting, because those are, like you said, those airplanes have to go somewhere, right? The ones coming off the line. Boeing, Airbus are not going to stand back and say, "Oh, okay, I'm going to lower my production. I'm going to stop putting airplanes out the door." So, what always gets me a telltale sign of how that's getting pushed into the market is when you start to see the leasing companies, some of the bigger leasing companies, start to lease airplanes to airlines you and I have never heard of. When in the old day, right, pre-pandemic and what have you, would we really see some of the bigger guys leasing an 8-year-old airplane to a startup in some small nation, right?
Yep.
We wouldn't see that. What we're seeing now, though, is that these guys are getting pushed, right? Pushed down. So, like you said, they're dumping all the new airplanes in and say, "Here, you're taking these," right? Airlines, lessors. Now, these guys they got an airplane coming off lease. Oh, it's a 10-year-old airplane. It was on a 10-year lease. What am I going to do with it? I got to go find a place to put it. Well, now they're putting those 10-year-old airplanes, instead of putting it back at, let's say, a Lufthansa or an Air France, those 10-year-old airplanes are going to the
Velo.
second and
Sorry, I had to throw that one out there. That's exactly, that's where it's going. I mean, it's like, so you said, it's a great time to start an airline. You can get cheap airlines and cheap capital, and there you go.
You get decent airplanes. Whereas before, you're looking at I got a 20-year-old A320. I got to worry about maintenance, the engines. Now I get a 10-year-old airplane. So it's just so that is the dilemma that I see, is that those airplanes that are parked, where are they going to go? And at some point, they're going to get monetized. And when they get monetized, I believe that's going to have a detrimental effect on the overall end value of these assets.